Good evening to everybody. What's up, man? I just want to come in and do a show tonight. Real talk with Rich. We in here. What's good? So, shout out to the Black Comic Lords forever, Black Comic Lords and Black Superheroes forever. Want to shout out to the chat. How's everybody doing? And I hope all is well with you and yours. As for yours truly, as I always say, I'm better than I deserve. And tonight we got a show, and so I'm not going to prolong the time. As you see, I'm doing this solo tonight, so that's what's up. But we're going to get into our first segment, and that's going to be low hanging fruit. What up, frustrated fans? Appreciate you joining us, man. What's going on? How you doing, Dion? Good to see you, sir. We're going to go ahead and jump into low hanging fruit. That's a segment of our show where we talk about the news and things that kind of going around us at the time. And so CBR.com put out a news report recently. I want to shout out to my man Amir, who I first saw or heard about this news from. I want to shout them out, and I just wanted to kind of react to it. As you see there, Marvel resurrects the Ultimate Universe with Brian Hitch and Jonathan Hickman. That is that's a power couple as far as writing and drawing is concerned. And what can you say? Miles Morales is going back to the Ultimate Universe for a little bit. It's going to be a 4-issue mini, and it is what it is. Summer's going to heat up. That's the first thing down the pike as far as summertime is concerned. Now, I'm not the biggest Miles Morales fan. I know some of you guys are though, and so when I was listening to Amir's podcast and they were talking about it, it's kind of the timing on it is kind of weird because Miles Morales Spider-Man just restarted. Shout out to Cody Ziegler. So he's kind of laying the groundwork on that. And so they kind of dropped this on everybody. You know, for a little while, Miles is going to be in the Ultimate Universe. We know that this is how Miles Morales came into Marvel through the Ultimate Universe. And so he's going to kind of be the center, according to the article. He's going to kind of be the center of attention. And of course, him as well as the character, the Maker, and from what we understand, the Illuminati is going to return. So, it's going to be those 4 issues. And, it's going to be cool, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Do I think it's weird as far as the timing goes? Absolutely. A limited series or whatever. Miles fans are going to love it, I'm sure. But at the same time, it's kind of like, I wonder how Cody Ziegler feels about it. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, let's just be honest, it's Jonathan Hickman that's writing this, okay? Jonathan Hickman is no slouch. I have been a proponent of Miles getting a big name writer for him. But even though this is only going to be 4 issues from what I understand, it doesn't mean that Ziegler's not going to get eclipsed by this because, again, Ziegler's writing the ongoing main title in the 616. And this is the Ultimate Universe thing. The name of the actual event is called, I think, let me get it right, Ultimate Invasion. So, again, it's something that Marvel is doing this summer. Miles is in the middle of it. So, as they say, react. So, but yeah, I think it's a good look for Miles. I hope it does well, but at the same time, I also hope that those who love Jonathan Hickman, that they would actually spend some bread and go read the Miles Morales run that Cody Ziegler is writing at the time. So that's what's up. Anyway, let's move and transition to our next article. Now, this article here is by bookriot.com. And so it looks like a few superhero characters, whatever, are going to get novels. Now, for those of you that might have young readers in your house. You may have a daughter, you may have a son, you may have a nephew, you may have you may want to pick this up, but they're going to be putting out some novels. Black Panther is going to have a novel, and Miles Morales is going to have a novel of those who are getting novels. Of course, you see Batman on there, The Killing Joke. There's also, I want to say, Black Widow, I think, is getting one. But there's like five or six, I want to say, that are getting books. But for those of you who have, kids and you enjoy that enjoy reading, superhero stuff, whatever, I'm saying. I just want to throw this in because they don't do enough for our kids as is. So when these books do come out, you might want to pick them up for your, like I say, for your daughter, your nephew, your niece, or your son. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's up. Frustrated says, why would they do a Killing Joke novel form? The graphic novel is amazing. That's a good question, but I don't think that it's actually the Killing Joke. I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's a like a prequel. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But you're right. Killing Joke is an amazing story, and but they're doing a novel, so either way, you know what I'm saying? It's Batman, so it's gonna sell either way. H&A says, I think kids today take the novels better than floppies. Absolutely. And this is why Marvel and DC and some of these companies are throwing their hat in it. You know what I'm saying? It's funny to me that grown men love pictures with words. And young kids like to just read novels. So, but that's kind of how it goes though. But yeah. So again, support, bless somebody, what I'm saying, whether they're in your house or they just a relative or a friend, or maybe one of your neighbors, they have kids or whatever, and they like to read, pick something up and help them out. So with that, we want to transition and let's talk a little bit about Mandalorian season 3. Okay. Amazing in my opinion. Some of the Star Wars fans are, Star Wars and Star Trek fans. How do I put this? No, I'm not gonna say that because I'm trying to get away from the I'm trying to get away from getting in trouble with management. So I'll just say this: some Star Wars fans and some Star Trek fans are toxic. We'll say that, and some of them are trying to poo-poo this first episode. And the Bloodsport haven't seen season 3 yet. Well, none of us have seen it yet. Bloodsport. The first episode just came out, episode 17, and it was amazing. It was amazing. It started off with action, and it ended kind of weird. It did, but I think that the biggest it's really a journey. This season is going to be about a journey. He talks about in the first episode that he completed his quest. Now he's trying to go after redemption. He says, I can't watch any other show until the Last of Us ends. Papa Pedro can't be. You know what? Listen, I'm not on the Last of Us End train. Look, there's a lot of content out here to watch, and I just do not have the time, nor the energy, nor the wherewithal to watch it. But when season 3, episode 17 dropped, I made time. And we all make time for what we think is important. And The Mandalorian is important. It is one of the reasons why I continue to watch and read and collect Star Wars. Because before The Mandalorian, in my opinion, the Star Wars universe, what they were doing with it, it was a dumpster fire. And Mandalorian has been amazing. So I'm going to continue to support it. It's LOL management. Yeah, the management. I don't need to get no phone call. I'm trying I'm trying to be better. Appreciate my growth. Okay. But again, I love The Mandalorian because it's not connected to the Skywalker aspect of Star Wars. I just wish they would just get away from the legacy of Skywalker. If they could just leave the legacy of Skywalker alone, just go on and take it behind the building. Take it behind the building and put a bullet in it and do something different, please. Now I know that they're trying to do that. They've done that with the Great Batch. They've done that with they're going to do it with the Acolyte. They recognize that, you know what, that Skywalker thing is kind of long in the tooth. We need to do something different. Behind the scenes says Mando made Disney Plus what it is. Mando saved Star Wars. Absolutely. I mean, and I cannot wait for the Acolyte when it comes out. Because, bro, I can watch all Star Wars stuff. I have this thing where if I'm working in my house or if I'm working in my office and I just need some noise, I can put in any Star Wars. Well, I can't say any Star Wars. I have a few, but the first trilogy, I can put that on. I can put the second trilogy. All of the last trilogy have been one shots. I have seen them all only once. I refuse to watch. I refuse to watch that. But this, man, yes, man, I'm loving the Mandalorian, and I hope he uses the dark saber a lot this season, because yeah, that dude's a bad man. Show us more of the Star Wars world. I 100% agree. So, guys, if you have not caught up with Star Wars, please go do yourself a favor and just binge it. I promise you. All you gotta do is binge The Mandalorian. You don't gotta binge nothing else. Matter of fact, as odd, as off the wall as Boba Fett was, that really was Mandalorian season 2.5. That's the running joke about Boba Fett. Now, some people blame Boba Fett for jacking up The Mandalorian. Okay, I get it, I understand it, but you know what? I'm like, guys, it's Star Wars. Get over yourselves. Either you're gonna enjoy it or you're not. So please, I wanted Boba Fett to be better. It wound up being okay, but it got definitely better when when Mandalorian showed up. So I'm here for Mando all day, every day. So we'll see if Filoni and Favreau have Star Wars on lock. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what comes down the pipe. But I am looking forward to Acolyte, and we get to see some dark side stuff. You know what I'm saying? We've got a lot of Jedi stuff, and I have no problem with. I love the Jedi, but the Sith aspect of Star Wars universe does not get enough attention. And there's a lot of comic books that have done stuff on the Sith, but I want to see some of that on screen. So that's what's up. He said the last trilogy felt like a remix of the original. Well, that's exactly what it was. I mean, they run, to me, in my opinion, they ran out of ideas. And speaking of running out of ideas, okay, Derek, we're gonna stay right where we are for a second. We're gonna get ready to go to commercial break, but I might as well go on and get the fat elephant out the room in terms of the MCU. Why? Why, Derek? Why, bro? I didn't say nothing yet. I didn't say nothing bad. All I will say is this: that season, that phase five, the introduction to phase 5, Ant-Man and the Wasp, right? Listen, shout out to E-Man. Shout out to Email. I saw Email when he did a first reaction out of the theater for Ant-Man and the Wasp 3. And he said, and I quote, "It's an Ant-Man movie." That's all I needed to hear to know to not spend Ciabatta on that. Say it took you 20. I didn't say anything. Derek is jumping the gun. He's skittish behind the scenes. I'm not going to say anything controversial, I don't think. But when it comes to phase 5, this is the beginning of phase 5. And the reports have been that the Ant-Man and the Wasp it's just not that good. In fact, I've heard people say that it's not even really an Ant-Man and the Wasp movie. But it speaks to a bigger problem that they're having at Marvel, and that is they really, there's chinks in the armor. The MCU was bulletproof up until, I would say, phase 4. Phase 4 was okay. We talked about phase 4, me, Paul, and Tamiko, I believe. And phase 4 was not bad. It was actually pretty good for what it was. It ended with Black Panther Wakanda Forever, right? But it could have, we all know and believe that it could have been a lot better. However, they have to trim the fat. And that's why some stuff is being put on hold, some stuff has been on delay. And so when this movie debuted, they did not get the reviews and they did not get the response from the fans that they thought they were going to be. I think they said it was like a 69, 70% drop off from the opening weekend. That's basically the guys that wanted to see this movie went to go see this movie, right? And then they said, you know what? Usually when a Marvel movie is pretty dope, you go with your partners or you take your girl and say, you know what? Let's go check this out. But most people that are fans or whatever, we'll go by ourselves and we'll watch something. If we enjoy it, we think somebody else enjoy it, we'll go check it out a second time. That's not happening with this movie. Similar thing happened with Thor and Love and Thunder. So to all my peoples over there at Marvel, do better. That's all I'm gonna say. The problem is they want to be kid friendly and adult friendly at the same time, and that doesn't work. You know, I mean, they could actually do both, but don't do them in the same show. Do them differently. You talk about the multiverse. You talk about all these different versions of these quote unquote characters. If you're going to do that, do it, because guess what? Moon Girl Devil Dinosaur, very phenomenal animation. Very, very phenomenal animation. No one's talking about that. But it's not that and I'll take it back. It's not that no one's talking about it, but we all of us that enjoyed it recognize that it wasn't even really for us. These things were for our daughters and for our nieces and for young kids. It's not, but it's one of the most phenomenal things on Disney Plus right now. Now, bless what's the MCU is too kiddie. You got individuals who can destroy the world, should be terrifying, and the film itself should be all great. MCUs have various sources. Yeah, I mean, look, they trying to appeal to different demographics. That's not a secret. But you didn't have that problem in phase 3. You didn't have that problem in phase 2. And in some aspects, you didn't have that problem really in phase 4. But at the end of the day, I think they have done too much. That chink is that there's a chink in the armor at Marvel, and they got to work that out. So we'll see what they do. But you know, shout out to them over there. You know what I'm saying? Because it's touch and go. Y'all guys gonna get money from me next year. I'll say it like that. Because if stuff don't get better, I have no motivation to watch Disney Plus. Now, we just talked about The Mandalorian. That's the gangster thing about DC. They own Marvel. They own Disney. So they got a bunch of content we're gonna watch, and they got a bunch of content we're not gonna watch. Either way, they're getting our money, and I'm not feeling that, but it is what it is. Shout out to Gordon. He says Moon Girl Devil Dinosaur was fantastic, lots of fun. Yes, and I think that's they need more content like that. Will we get it? I don't know. I mean, it's hard to tell what they're trying to do. I know they're trying to bring in, some people think that the end game is Secret Wars. I don't know. I mean, perhaps it is because they're doing this limited series with Miles Morales we just talked about. It's a possibility. People think that that's going to bring Miles into the 616 in terms of, seeing him on screen, that kind of thing. So we shall see. But we got to transition, guys. We're going to take a commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to spotlight. Wait a minute. Before we go to commercial. Sorry, Derek. Before we go to commercial. Last bit of news. Derek, can you bring up the Black Panther cover? Issue 1 that Eve Ewing is doing. I want to talk about that real quick before we go to commercial. Not that one. The Eve Ewing one. I'm sorry. I just want to talk about that because we got a new Black Panther run coming in June. These streets gonna be hot. That uniform is amazing. My man got a cape. Yeah, he's going to be. I don't know what the story is going to be about. Now, we heard that it's going to be about him still in Wakanda, but he's really been ousted, but he still wants to defend Wakanda. So he's going to be, I don't know, Zorro, maybe, a Wakanda's Zorro type character. Who knows? I'm looking forward to it, though. I got to say, I'm definitely looking forward to that. That cover is amazing. I think Tyron Clark did that, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah. So guys, stay tuned for that. Stay tuned. This is the most dangerous man alive 2.0. We'll see. Now, if you pull out a pistol, it'll definitely be dangerous man alive. There's what's deadly than T'Challa with a pistol? Not too much. Not too much. He said that's clearly someone else. Wow. Look, if it is, it remains to be seen. If it is, it remains to be seen. I trust that Eve Ewing is going to give us a T'Challa story. That's what I'm pitching my tent right there. In Eve Ewing, I trust that she's going to give us. You say Moon Panther? You wrong for that. There is a Ghost Panther variation though, but I do believe that Eve Ewing is giving us a T'Challa story. So we'll see. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna get away from the Black Panther stuff. I don't need to get in trouble with you Black Panther fans. I love T'Challa. As a matter of fact, I just bought a bunch of Jungle Action books for my. And here's the thing: I have the whole Jungle Action run. Well, nearly most all the Jungle, not all of it, but I got multiple copies of Jungle Action, and I bought a few this week. And so I love T'Challa. I love Black Panther. But I'm not hardcore like a lot of guys. Zen says, I trust Eve. Yes, we're gonna trust Eve. We're gonna need you, T'Challa fans, and all of you hardcore, the Cult of Bass, the Church of Bass, the Hattusarazi, the Doris. I need all of y'all to give Eve Ewing some room to work. Let her work, let her cook, and we'll see what she comes up with. Mark Robinson said BP needs to get his throne back. He is a king. We'll see. We'll see. Well, we still got that last John Ridley book. He's not a king of John Ridley's run. That's we're not going. I'm not interested in trolling John Ridley tonight. I feel attacked. No, you don't. Don't feel attacked. Don't feel attacked. Paul, you my boy. You know I love you. You know what I'm saying? But look, we all look, it is a far gone conclusion that everybody is ready to be done with this last Black Panther issue that's coming out. We know that. That is not a secret. That is, I know there's some guys that dig it or whatever, but I'm not even I'm not even vested like that. And I'm saying, let's get this over with. June can't get here fast enough. So, shout out to all the Black Panther fans out there, man. I mean, it's been a rough year. But hey, we've gotten through it. So I wish I could say we've seen worse, but I'm afraid we haven't. Derek, take us to commercial. We're gonna be back. Hang loose with us, hang tight, go get you something, a snack, a drink. Check out this dope commercial we got. And we're gonna be back on the other side. We're gonna spotlight a character tonight, Bill Foster, aka Black Goliath. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Comics are different. Those things cannot be returned if they do not sell. Okay, so that means that if they buy 10 copies of Monica Rambeau Photon and nobody buys it, they eat that money. And your local comic shop is, the margins are very thin, right? Times are hard for everybody. And so what that means is that it gives comic shop owners incentive to be very risk averse, right? And so you could order a bunch of Batman and you know that every month people are going to come in and buy Batman. It's often characters of color, new characters, lesser known characters where they're like, I don't know, this could be good, but if I put this on my shelves and people don't buy it, I lose money. And I'm sympathetic to that. That's a real assessment that they have to make. So the way that we avoid that is you go in and you pre-order. So Paul goes in 3 months before the comic set comes out and says, hello, I would like to pre-order Monica Rambeau Photon #1. I'm not going to wait till it comes out. I'm telling you now that I want it. And at that point, they're like, okay, let me go ahead and order this. And in the comics world, that is the sale that counts. By the time you come into a store and purchase a comic book, that sale does not count. I know it is ridiculous. It is very silly. That is the way it is. The sale that counts is when the store orders it from the distributor. That is what they are counting. And so what that means is that when you go in and you pre-order things, it actually gives that store confidence. Like, okay, Paul said Paul's going to be back and spend his $5 on this book. So we're good. If we order this one, we know it's going to sell and we can pay our rent. We're not going to be eating this cost this month. The best thing to do is your subscription or your pull list where you go in and you say, I want you to put these in every month for me, right? And then they will set that aside in a box.
Message.
Yo, we are back. So please pre-order your books. All right. Tonight, we want to spotlight characters. We have been talking to a lot of creators of late. And myself personally, I want to get back to the characters. And while we'll continue to do our thing and interview a lot of amazing people, we want to also make sure that we don't forget to highlight and celebrate characters. And tonight's spotlight is on Black Goliath. Now, Black Goliath, or should we say Bill Foster, aka Black Goliath, aka Giant Man, aka Goliath. What is it about Black characters that we just can't have one nickname and just be done with it? Okay, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, it's him and it's Monica Rambeau. And I get it. People go, people change, they evolve or whatever, and they want to be called something. I get it. But, I mean, it's almost like a Black trope to have, multiple nicknames and stuff like that. Only in the Black community, you could be Ray over here and then somebody else can call you, Peanut over there or something, or Little Man, who knows? But tonight we're going to talk about Bill Foster. Okay. Now, you know what, frustrated. Derek, I'm gonna need you to bring frustrated. I need you to bring his comment up before I can't go no further. I must address this insanity. He says, we are going to have to send John Ridley a really good apology note, an edible arrangement, some candy, so we can see an interview from him. You know what? I will say this, frustrated. If John Ridley wants to talk to the Black Comic Lords, we'll be more than welcoming. We will oblige him. Matter of fact, we will actually carve out a show for him. We would, well, please. I can hope for nothing less. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. So, John Ridley, if you're out there, BCL wants to interview you. We have questions. We have lots of questions. But anyway, back to Bill Foster. Okay. So Bill Foster's first appearance is Avengers 32 in September 1966. That's a long time ago. Matter of fact, that was before I was alive. So if those of you that want to collect this book, Derek, could you show them the Avengers book, the cover, so you can get an idea? That's the cover, his first appearance. Now, in this book here, he's Bill Foster. He's not Black Goliath. He doesn't become Black Goliath till later on, but this is his first, Bill Foster's first appearance. Avengers 32, September 1966. Dope key to pick up and collect. You can find that key, among others, on our website, blackcomiclords.net. So yeah, we want you to collect. That's an important book to get. Now, as far as his notable appearances is, his first appearance as Black Goliath is Power Man 24. Power Man 24, that's Luke Cage for the uninitiated. And as you see, Luke Cage is hitting them with a haymaker. Now, Black Goliath has a troubling history in that many covers of him are catching him like said cover there. He's catching a haymaker from Luke Cage over a woman, no less. And well, where was the manosphere when this book came out? But yeah, but this is his first appearance as Black Goliath, Power Man 24. Now, you know, Black Goliath has had a number of appearances. He's had the 5-issue mini. We just showed you that first cover of issue 1 of that run. But some of his other notable titles include Black Panther Volume 3, number 23. And this particular cover here of Black Panther 23 is a key. It is a key. Now, it is not a key because of Bill Foster, but he happens to be in this book. So, Derek, could you bring up issue 23? Yes, that one there, Black Panther 23. Of course, that's Deadpool and T'Challa squaring off for the first time. And but he makes an appearance in this book as Giant Man. So he goes from being Black Goliath to being called Giant Man. And so he's Giant Man in this particular book. Okay. So I don't know if he was having an identity crisis or Marvel just didn't know what they were doing. You know, one of the things about characters that begin with the name or with the word Black in front of it, it's always an issue for some reason. Black Panther, Black Goliath, Black Lightning, you know, but no one has a problem with Black Bolt being Black Bolt, or whatever, okay? So this is an appearance in this book. He is Giant Man in this particular book here. He's also in another Black Panther book, and a very, very important Black Panther. It is the wedding of Storm and T'Challa, and that's Black Panther Volume 4, issue number 18. He's in that book as well, and he is a guest at the wedding, along with a whole lot of other superheroes. And if you want to know more about that, I ask you that you should, send all your inquiries to Paul. He could tell you everything about this. This is one of the most important issues of Black Panther, when super love was a real thing. So didn't he take over for Pym as Giant Man? Yes. Yes. He's connected to Ant-Man. He's connected to Hank Pym. That's how he makes his entrance into the Marvel universe. So, shout out to Lawrence Fishburne, who had like a 30-second cameo in the movie as Bill Foster. Now, behind the scenes says, bruh, Black Goliath's whole existence is to get beat on and die. We will not have that kind of shade on Real Talk with Rich. I'm the only one that can provide the shade, Dion. But I get you. He says his MCU appearance was lackluster. One of his biggest moments was when he died in Civil War. He's a jobber. Does he have any feats? Golly, bro. Tell us how you really feel, man. Look. Look, listen, we all want these characters to be super fly and dope and everybody, I think this is one of the reasons why T'Challa is so adored and a lot of people are so upset behind Ridley, because how he's making T'Challa look. Bill Foster, or Black Goliath, has always had a history of quote unquote looking bad. And I read an article online about it. And this guy wrote a blog. He was saying that initially he didn't think that it was a thing. But if you go back and you look at some of the books that the covers he's on 2 covers with the Thing in a Marvel 2-in-1 book. He's on 2 covers with the Thing. One cover he's getting punched out. The other cover he's slumped over. So he is a quote unquote a job. But I have to, show respect to this character because, again, he's a part of the history. Is he the dopest character? No. I wanted to kind of highlight him today because of the Ant-Man and the Wasp movie that's out and his connection to the Ant-Man and the Wasp and to the Pym particles and all of that. I wanted, because when you talk about Black history, he's a part of that. That's his history. You know what I'm saying? So, but I will say this: every Black collector should have his run. Everybody, that 5-issue mini, you can still find that in dollar bins. It's not a hard book to find. Matter of fact, you'll have a harder time finding his first appearance as Black Goliath in Power Man 24. You'll have a rougher time finding that. But issues 1 through 5 of his run, you should be able to find that with no problem. Now, issue 24, good luck with that. You may pay $10 for it. You can still get it. It's not like it's hard to find in terms of you're going to pay a little bread for it. I'll say it like that. So, yeah. So, again, I want to spotlight Black Goliath because, again, unsung hero. Does he get punched around? A little bit. Why do they do my mans like that? I don't know. They know what they say. Bigger they are, the harder they fall. So, it's not like he's getting punched out by a bunch of white. As you can see, there's a Black man, Black on Black violence. There's your first issue. Paul, I need you to put this down in the record books. Is this the first? Is this the first episode of Black on Black crime in a comic book? I mean, Luke Cage that's a haymaker there. Look at my man is just falling all over the place. And yeah. Pencil says, oh, I'm sorry, Pericles says, who remembers that old video, Black Superheroes of My Child? Black Goliath got seriously clowned in that video. Well, you know, nobody's perfect. That's all I'm gonna say. So look, with that, we're gonna transition to our next segment. Down the rabbit hole. Down the rabbit hole. Mark Robinson said, just want to announce I got my dope BCL t-shirt Saturday. I love my Child of the Future shirt. That's what's up. Shout out to you, Mark. Thank you for supporting. I don't even know if this shirt is still available on our website. But here's another shirt. You know, this is one of the OG shirts that we have. BlackComicLords.net. It's got all the superheroes on it as well. So anyway, we want to segue to. He said, I hope Luke and BG ain't fighting in front of wife. We will not talk about Chris Rock tonight. Okay, knock it off. Anyway, so we're gonna transition to Down the Rabbit Hole. Down the Rabbit Hole is where we get to like dig in a little bit and see. Down the Rabbit Hole tonight is a little different. I want to kind of keep it kind of light. So I want to talk about the month in review. We just came out of Black History Month, right? And we got a few books, some nice covers and things of that nature. I didn't have Derek load up a bunch of slides of different covers and all that. I didn't want to do that. We kind of did that already. But what I did want to do, since it's my show, is just talk about a couple of the books that I enjoyed. And hope you guys, you know, share with us, what did you enjoy in this month? So the first book we have up is DC Power. Now, I got to say from the outset that there were a couple of stories in this book that I thought was dope. However, and it is a big however, this book was not worth $10. I know that some of you comic book heads like seeing our people on covers, but I'm tired of paying this black tax. Okay, I'm tired. It seems like the more black people they put on the cover, the higher the book. We go way back to Future State, and the I Am Batman books was $7, $8, and now to get an anthology like this, they wanted $9.99. If I'm gonna pay $10 for a comic book, every story better be fire. Every artist better be banging. Do not shortchange me. And I felt like, and just Rich being honest, that this book was not $10. $6.99, yeah. $9.99, no. Now Azura says Milestone 30 is $10 too. Now I expect the Milestone, I expect the Milestone book to be dope. I expect that to be $10. Okay, I have no problem with giving Milestone my bread. I'm a Milestone hardcore Milestone guy, so I have no problem with giving Milestone $10 because I know I'm gonna get $10 worth of content out of it. I don't have a problem with that. But you know, I mean, look. I'm already looking at y'all DC sus as is. But again, we're paying premium dollars for these books, and they're not highly regarded, except those of us that are in our community, which means that within another month or two, the books that did not get sale are going to be in dollar bins. If you don't believe me, go back and try. I bet you can go find DC Represent book in dollar bins right now. That was a real thick book, and that book tanked because the truth be told, it needs, you know, we want representation, but we also need value for whatever it is that we're going to buy. You and Paul need to stop. I'm just keeping it a stack. If we're going to spend our hard-earned cash on these books, we have to believe in them. But I can't consciously tell somebody, yeah, man, you should go pick that book up. I can't do that. I'm not going to do that. Because again, if I do that and they get that book and they read it and it's terrible, that makes me look bad. That says to them that, man, that dude don't know what he's talking about. Or that dude don't know a good story when he see it. I told you, I am not, this is Black Comic Lords. Say what you will, but we don't hand out participation trophies. No, we deserve better. We want better. That's all I'm saying. Step your game up, in the immortal words of Money Mayweather. Okay? That's all I'm saying. Next book that we're going to look at. Now, this book, if you're going to do an anthology book, that's the book. That was the best book that came out for Black History Month. Marvel Voices Wakanda Forever. Dope, dope, dope stories. Dope art all the way through. That book wasn't $10. And that's Marvel. I'm just saying. That was a dope book. So yes, if I put DC Power right here and Marvel Voices Wakanda Forever, I'm gonna hand you the Wakanda book, the Marvel book. It's not even a boat race. It's literally a tortoise and a jackrabbit. I mean, it laps that book. That book is incredible. Shout out to Cena Howard, the story that she did. Amazing Black Panther story. Amazing. That book was dope for real. That was the best book in my opinion. In my opinion, that was the best book that came out for Black History Month. And I'm gonna be honest with you. Well, I was surprised. I really was. I was really surprised that it was that good. And you know what's cold? If we're not careful, some of the Black Panther fans might actually miss. They might pass it up because of what's happening with T'Challa. They be like, man, I don't want to read nothing about T'Challa because they see T'Challa there on the cover, or the Black Panther on the cover. They may want to say, you know what, I'm not gonna buy that because they don't like the way Ridley is treating Black Panther right now. But they need to get that book in their collection. That book needs to be in their collection for real. There were some amazing stories in that book. So as far as Black History book, best book in my opinion, it was that one. That one right there. Now, the next book I'm going to talk about is a book that came out in during Black History Month. This is the best surprise book in my opinion. Static Shadows of Dakota issue 1. I've had my issues with Static. Everybody knows me that I am a milestone OG hardcore head from back in the day. So when Static came back, and I didn't recognize who that dude was that they called Virgil Hawkins, I said to Paul and to everybody that heard me or within an earshot of me that loved comics, that's not Virgil. I don't know who that dude is. He moody. He got issues. He got anger problems. Where's my guy? I need Virgil. That's what I said. And so because I didn't get that, I just kind of dismissed the book altogether. I enjoyed it. Got better as it went on. But when it returned, this book here, I bought the book. I bought that cover in particular. I read it. I enjoyed it. It was good. It was a good, feel-good comic book. Now, see, that's my man's right there. I can get with that. So, you know, Black History Month overall was pretty cool. I just didn't like paying $10 for a DC book that wasn't worth it. That's my only gripe. Everything else was cool. You know, it had some good stories. The DC Power book, it had some good stories in it. but it didn't justify $10. That black tax that they try to hit us with, I'm sorry, I'm not letting y'all off the hook. If somebody been collecting comic books for 40 years, no, we cannot do it. No other ethnic group, no other group gets that kind of treatment. And I said what I said. Until y'all prove me wrong, y'all gonna have to let me know. Because I don't look, we spend our hard-earned money. And those of us that are real collectors, we don't just buy the cover A. We buy cover Bs. We buy cover Cs. We buy variant covers. We buy 1 in 25. We buy 1 in 50s. And if we really, really love the characters, we'll buy 1 in 100. We will spend major dough. But you got to give us what it's worth. Because there's no resale value for that book. That book is going to sit in your long box, and you're not going to pick it up. I don't think nobody in 5 years from now is going to pick that book up out there long. You remember this? No. That Wakanda Forever Marvel Voices, people going to pick that up. People going to remember that book. If you don't have that book, you should get that book. I'm not a spec guy, but I'm just telling you, you want that book in your collection. Nichols say, bring back the original Black Goliath. Yeah, that's what's up. I don't know if that's going to happen, but yeah. So while we're talking about Black History Month, right? It's nice to get books that are, catering to our people and our readers, comic heads, the ladies, the brothers. We love those of us that love comics. We can never get enough of it. But we read these books 24/7. We're comic heads, not just in February. We're comic heads, from December or from January to December. And so to all of the, artists out here, and even the independents that are out here marketing their books or whatever, you could take some advice, or you could take a nod from DC and Marvel. There's something to be said about, wanting to offer books that tell stories that speak to history, as well as superhero stuff, as well as horror genres and things of that nature. There's something to be said about that. Now, do you have to do exactly what they're doing? No. But, we know that they get, Marvel and DC recognizes that there are collectors out here that want these books. And we're going to buy them. Some books for us are cover buys. We have no problem. We don't apologize for any of it. However, you can't charge me $10 for a cover by Marvel. DC, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm grumpy that I spent my $10. And that book, I can't get $10 for it. I did see somebody trying to sell a DC Power book for $20 though. Shame on you if you spent $20 for a DC Power book. And I have the variant. I have the variant with the ladies on it. I didn't want that A cover. That A cover, no. That wasn't the lick. The real cover, this is the book. This book here. Make me big there so I can show it. If you're gonna spend bread, okay, you're gonna spend bread. This is kind of covers that you need. Okay. Nice artwork, dope superheroes. Got Vixen on the cover, got Bumblebee on the cover, Joe Mullen, Amanda Waller. Yeah, that's what's up. So look, I hope all of us, got a few books that we can add to our collections in terms of Black history. It's important. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, my message is to all of these, comic book companies, those of us, you don't have to buy everything, but, whatever you spend your money on, make sure that you got value for it. That's the biggest thing. I'm not an advocate of just spending money to be spending money. It's there's this thought that collect what you love, and the reason why some of us say that is because these books lose value, then at least you'll have a personal attachment to it, and it won't lose any value. That's key. However, I don't believe in just dumping money into a pit. No. We want good stories. We want crazy art. We want amazing, experiences. Because we're spending our money. That's what's up. Whether it's Black History Month, Juneteenth, or whatever they want to call it, whatever, nope, not gonna do it. So, with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and move out of that. We're gonna take a commercial break. When we come back, we're gonna talk about a couple of books that I want to recommend for you and yours, and that's what's up. So, stay tuned. Got a dope commercial to show you. You're gonna enjoy this. Take care. Watch it. Be right back.
Black Comic Lords.
I nominate Icon for league membership.
Are you ready? Let's go. Hi, LA Shears here, and welcome to a very special edition of Black Comic Lords' new comic book rush. On this episode, we're dedicating it completely to Milestone's 30th anniversary. The action-packed, timeline-tweaking Icon vs. Hardware series leads up to Milestone's 30th anniversary, so let's start with Book 1. Icon vs. Hardware, number 1. When Hardware discovers a long-suppressed time machine hidden in a government warehouse, his obsession with righting the wrongs of the past, those of both American history and his own tragic family, will unravel the fabric of time for the Milestone universe. Icon vs. Hardware, number 2. With time itself under Hardware's control, the hierarchy of power in the Dakotaverse has changed. Having altered events so the Big Bang itself never happened, Curtis Metcalf now finds himself as the head of Alpha Industries, but the world is still on the brink of chaos. Can Hardware stop his alternate timeline self from dooming us all? Icon vs. Hardware, number 3. Hardware's rampant tampering with the timeline has weakened the boundaries of reality and unraveling not just his own history, but the history of the entire Milestone universe. And as the cracks in the wall of creation start to show, a terrifying threat emerges from the most unexpected place. The ending of this issue is going to shock you. Icon vs. Hardware, number 4. Well, Hardware fooled around and now he's found out. From outside the walls of the known universe comes a terrifying, seemingly unbeatable, and deeply unexpected enemy. Brainiac? The events of this issue will alter the course of the multiverse forever. And now the moment we have all been waiting for. Milestone's 30th anniversary special, number 1. Celebrating 30 years of Static, Icon, Rocket, Hardware, and the rest of the Dakotaverse in this star-studded anthology. From a Static and Batman Beyond team-up, harkening back to their adventures in the Static Shock animated series. A grown-up Raquel Irving inherited the mantle of Icon, a reality-warping story where the present-day Milestone characters meet their 1993 counterparts. There's something for every Milestone fan to enjoy. So you've seen the amazing variant covers. You've heard the incredible stories. You know what to do. Pre-order now. LA Shears signing out. Till next time.
Yeah, man. That's what's up. Shout out to Milestone. 30 years in the game. And it doesn't matter. There have been a lot of companies that have come and gone. People still trying to catch up to Milestone. So it is what it is. Salute to all those cats. So we're at the part of the show where we do Rich Recommends. And basically what I want to do is I want to start recommending books on my lives. And what I will do is I will recommend a trade and I will recommend a floppy. something to pick up or whatever. And these are just recommendations based on my own reading and based on what I enjoy. You may enjoy something different, but I'm saying if I'm recommending it, then I think you'll spend your money. Your money be well spent, and you're not going to break the bank trying to get some of these books. So, with that said, I got the first book, which is a floppy. This is Monkey Meat issue number 5. Now, Monkey Meat issue 5 concludes the first story arc by Junie Ba. And here's the thing about Monkey Meat. Monkey Meat is you gotta really put your thinking cap on when you read Monkey Meat. Because on the surface it looked like something silly, but it digs into it digs deep into capitalism, supply and demand, things like that. It's a head trip. I'll say it like that. So I recommend it. Junie Ba's a dope artist, dope writer. You should check him out. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't have that in your collection, the trade is out probably for it. But if you're gonna get an issue, whatever, issue 1, all of them are dope, but this last issue for this particular volume or whatever, I recommend that. Truly. I mean, I'm telling you. Like I say, when you look at it, you be like, man, what is this? But if you think while you're reading it, if you think while you're observing it, my brother gets pretty deep. So you should check it out. That's Monkey Meat issue number 5. If you can pick up the trade or whatever, you can pick up the singles. Good luck finding the singles because I have not seen any of these things in dollar bills. People enjoyed this when it came out. And, but if you're able to, find it while you're digging through books, pick up Monkey Meat for real. My next offering is a trade, and it is Cyborg from the DC Universe Rebirth. This is the first volume. This collects issues 1 through 5 of the Cyborg run. I brought this up because I think it is in June as well. We're also getting a new Cyborg run. And so before that run comes out, you might want to just pick up some Cyborg to kind of get your appetite wet for what's coming down the line. And I promise you, you will enjoy this trade. It is a very human story, I would say. There's some heroics and stuff in it. There's even a little quote unquote love in it or whatever as well. But Victor Stone ain't no joke, man. Cyborg is one of these characters that's been around a long, long time and has been grossly underused. He's been on Teen Titans, he's been on the Justice League, but he's never really just shined in his own. And I think that when they put that book out initially, the Rebirth, it was not enjoyed enough by our community. I'll say it like that. Because you can still find DC Rebirth Cyborg books in dollar bins. So if you want to pick up a dope read, pick this up. Like I said, this is volume 1. It's called The Imitation of Life. And this is my man's, he's basically trying to figure out how much of his humanity is still left. He's very much a machine, but he's struggling with, his humanity, whether it's intact or not. And he finds out that in fact it is. So I haven't given anything. I've told you everything and I told you nothing. And so that's kind of how I like to do it when I do my recommends. I'll tell you everything, but at the same time, give you nothing. And so you won't say that I spoiled it for you, but you should check that out for real. Now, Mr. Mario Van Bryson says, check out Noble by Brandon Thomas. Absolutely. Noble's dope. Noble is dope. That's a Lion Forge book. Check that out. So before I get out of here, I'm going to just highlight a couple of books that I just picked up in the last few weeks, or last week, I should say. These are books that you might want to also grab. This book here, Teen Titans, number 44. This is the first appearance of Mal Duncan as the Guardian. Might want to pick that up. Shout out to my man Herschel. The Guardian is one of his, not the Guardian, but Mal Duncan is one of his favorite characters. Here is a variant Amazing Spider-Man number 22, Spider-Punk, Virgin cover. This is pretty dope. This is pretty dope. I enjoy Spider-Punk as a character. So yeah. Reno Jones, number 7, Gunhawk. So might want to pick that up. He said, I recommend Black. It made me go back to the original movie. Yeah, Blackula's a dope book. This book here, you can find this on our website, blackcomiclords.net. Dingbacks of Danger Street. Contains a black character who is not initially considered black. It's a controversial book. So with Black Comic Lords, we not only collect or show you books that have black characters, but books that are connected to identity or the identity of these characters. Because initially, comic book companies will put out a book, it'll have this person listed one way and it wind up being something totally different, or they'll race swap the character and won't even say nothing to nobody. And they did that with the Teen Titans a couple of times, I want to say. But yeah. Here's those of you that enjoyed Black Cotton when it came out. This is Far Side Comics Black Cotton #1 special edition. Yeah. Shout out to Black Cotton creators. They in our space for real. Captain America and the Falcon 169. This is where Falcon meets T'Challa, and T'Challa gives him his wings, hooks him up with some wings from his technology. You might want to pick that up. This last book here is Captain America and the Falcon 177. In this particular story, Falcon is the lead in this story. And Falcon is, Captain America, for the most part, without giving the story away, is kind of quick. Okay, so Falcon is out fighting, and he's fighting a black character who gets quote unquote possessed with the spirit of Lucifer. If you want to say that, that's kind of how it goes. But yeah, but basically, this is a Falcon book. Okay, I'll just in a nutshell. If you enjoy Falcon, Sam Wilson as a character, here's some Silver Age goodness. Check it out. Go get it. Copper Age, I should say. Yeah. Now, H&A says, isn't Black Cotton starting back up soon? Yes, from what we understand. We need to get with those guys. I think they're putting together a graphic novel, if I'm not mistaken. I had to check with Paul about that. But yeah, those guys, they got something cooking for Black Cotton coming up. I know that one time they were doing a Kickstarter. I don't know if it got, fully funded or what happened with that. But, we've seen them kind of post certain things. So they got something cooking in terms of Black Cotton universe coming out pretty soon. So yeah. So with that, guys, before I get out of here, I want to make a plea to DC Comics. I've been on DC's neck tonight. I know that. But in June, it will be 5 years since Black Lightning has had a self-titled book. And I would love and appreciate if y'all would give my man Jefferson Pierce another run. I'm just saying. The last book that Jefferson Pierce had his name in, he had to share it with a dog. For those who don't know, that's Black Lightning and Hong Kong Phooey. Okay? So that don't even count. But it's been 5 years since Cold Dead Hands. So please, Marvel, please, 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 from Jefferson Pierce, Black Lightning's most favorite character, or most favorite fan. Please give us another book. I know he was in DC Power, but that don't count either. That don't count either. So that's what's up. So with that being said, guys, we want you to support your favorite comic book series, pre-order before the final cutoff date. We also want you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And we want you to, get a pull list. If you're going to get books and make sure that your comic shop has them, you have to pre-order your comic books. Some of these books, I'll give you a quick story. When Excellence was out, the comic shop that I was buying books from, and particularly I'd started buying Excellence from, they had it on the wall, but they stopped carrying it because they had nobody that wanted to order the book. I didn't have a pull list at that comic shop at the time. As a result, I went on and got a pull list, because if I had not gotten a pull list, that book would have never, they had no reason to carry that book. They didn't have enough support for that book. So that's why it's important to pre-order your books. And when books come out and people find out about them, it ensures that you get the book. Because what happens is a lot of these guys that support these comic shops, I'm gonna tell you, they get first dibs. They get first dibs. That's what comic shops do for people that support them. If they know there's a dope book coming out, and before they'll put it on the wall, and they know they got somebody that likes that kind of stuff, they'll put it to the side for them. So they may order 5 copies of it, but they'll hold 3 back, because they know they got somebody that's going to pre-order it, or they got somebody that they know is going to buy it. So that's why it's important to have those books already ordered. So when you go to the shop, you can just go to the counter and pick it up. And it won't be picked over like all the rest of the stuff that's on the wall. Okay? So please remember to get a pull list and subscribe and support your comic book shops. They need the support because they have to eat the cost on books that they can't sell. It is what it is. So, that being said, we have an interview coming up, Lamar Giles, and that's coming up on Tuesday, March the 7th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Static Shock is the connection. So please, please, please tune in for that. Pretty sure it's going to be a dope conversation. They always are. So stay tuned for that. Also, our the usual suspects in terms of our recurring lives: Wakanda Whiskey and Bourbon Blurtum, your boy Real Talk Rich, and of course Black Comic Lord Lady Lives. Those are the things that we consistently try to offer you guys. And the recent specials that we just had, we talked to Joe Illich, we talked to John Jennings, we talked to Eve Ewing, we talked to Cody Ziegler, we talked to Sebastian Jones of Stranger Comics. We've done roundtables. We just recently interviewed Rodney Barnes this past Wednesday, matter of fact, talked about Black Killer, talked about Philadelphia, among other things. So go to our YouTube channel and check that out. We just had this interview. Was it Friday? Yeah, Evan Narcisse and Chris Cross. We're talking about the milestone stuff, among other things. Dope conversation with Paul. So there's a lot of content on our YouTube channel. So please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And stay tuned. And again, yours truly will be back here next week. Lord, say the same. Well, actually, I will be on the road. I just realized that. I just thought about that. I will be on the road. I'm going to still do a show, but I will be down in Houston. Shout out to my people in H-Town. I'll be home for a couple of days and going to hang out with some fam and just do some things for my father. So that's what's up. But I will be giving you guys, a shout, and we'll be out here doing our thing. In closing, I just want to say this. Scripture says that the fear of the Lord prolongs life, but the years of the wicked are cut short. So please, 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 be wise, be safe, be humble, be strong. Until next time, from the stronghold that is Black Comic Lords, it's your boy Rich. Until next time, we say peace. We'll see you in about 6.5 days. Take care of yourselves. We out.